Got my heat gun lined up. Got my chair with the heat shrinks and solder rings and zip ties and label maker, Garmin pins, got the instructions, got the tools, got the plane turned on its side. I'm sitting in the cockpit here right now. Got that autopilot servo all finished up back there. Wiring this one up here. I've never worked with 22 gauge wire. Most things on the farm here is about 12 gauge. Once in a while you hit something that's 14, or something like that. But these 22s, they are about as small as my old eyes can see to put in the pins. But we're getting her done. As soon as I get this one wired, well, I'll be able to put the other side, I'll be able to put the baggage compartment in. And then I'll put the other Oratex on before I forget how to do Oratex. Alright, I think we got everything wired that we need to put this covering on. We got the trim wire and the trim indicator wire. I ran them through a pipe. It's not really a pipe. It's a piece that's made to hide wires in your house. It's really thin plastic. So I got it put in there, and that way, if I ever want any more wires in the back, I can run them. I can snake them through there and not have to disassemble everything to do it. That's the reason I ran that pipe on that side. We got the servo on this side wired, and it's all tied down and ran with the AOA, or with the static port. I mean, they split up there, but then it runs up here and catches the other servo, and then they're just sitting there all ready to go now to wherever we go from there. But the main thing is that's all the plumbing and wiring is put in the back of the plane. So now I can go ahead and get this other half of the fuselage covering put on. And all I will like is this tail end, and there's a little bit on the landing gears. I got the rudder and the elevator and the horizontal stabilizer. I got all the trim tape put on them. They are, as far as I know, ready to mount. They're ready to fly, I hope. So get this covering, maybe now get this wiring. This wiring takes, it's like every other project. It just don't look like there's much there, but it takes me about an hour and a half to wire one of those plug-ins up. The two CAN bus wires, get split and shields in two pieces, and it goes into one piece, and it goes into a plug, and then you do that twice, and power and ground and trim wires, and it just keeps going. I mean, it's nothing hard about it. Once you figure out where you're supposed to be headed, that took forever. I'm telling how many hours I have in the electric installation book. But anyway, I think we've got the pin out figured out. But we're going to get back on covering now. I have the glue on the frame here, sanded and glued, and the last piece of Oratex, last big piece, I've still have the tail back here to finish up. Working on the baggage compartment now. Here it is, a piece of suede felt or something I just got done gluing on. Yes, I did write that in the suede. I glued it on both pieces. I'm hoping I can fold it in half to get it in there like that, like so. be able to fold it and get it in there and then lay it back out. If not, I'll have to run a knife down. I have to run a knife down it and split it back into 2 boards again. That's our baggage compartment floor. Of course, the rest of the baggage compartment is over there in a pile. But I want to get all that in before I put this last piece on also, because it's a lot easier to get to right now. All right, we're getting the baggage compartment put in. Adjust and tighten the bolts down. As soon as we get it in, well, we're going to try to get this last piece on. This piece is ready to go. I got the whole crew here. They was available, so we decided to try to get this done. Susan's drying the last of the glue we just put on. Hello, Susan. All right, we'll give you a little fast forward now. Okay, we got her on there. I think we got her a little tighter this time if you watch the other side when we done it. That'll shrink out real good. We just got it all tacked down and we're going to lunch. But I guess we haven't tacked the door part down here, but it'll all go down good. Everything's laying nice. Like I say, this got a 15% shrink according to Oratex, so no problem getting rid of everything we got left here. This is hopefully going to lay down real nice. We got to trim it out now, which that takes most of the time, and we'll have to cut and fold and all the good stuff that you do around the edges. So we're pretty happy with the way this one come out. The main thing we did last time, we tacked on this bar and then tried to pull all the way over. This time we decided to try to tack here to start with, and that works a lot better. So when you do yours, I would advise to tack right here, and then you can pull this way and you can pull this way. And like I say, we got a lot tighter initial lay down here, and no doubt it'll shrink out just fine. So we'll finish her up after a while. all that's left's the heat shrink stretch, and we won't do that till we get the tail finished. We'll do them all together. The door frames, the first time I did the door frames, I showed you guys how I put pieces down in the corner and then covered over them. Well, this is a better way. We decided that the 600 is just half as thick as the 6000 is. So the seam that you leave on top is not as visible by putting your little pieces here to cover this V up afterwards. So I would do it later. You do it however you want to. Paint would be fine too, but like I say, this will all be covered right here with the stainless steel piece. The trim goes across here. All you'll see is this one area right here. The rest of all this will be covered. But anyway, that's how we done it this time. Hopefully the last time. Trimmed out good. The door's a little tricky. One thing we did notice, we used the iron more this time to get everything set down the first time. We used a heat gun in places, and here's the problem that you run into with the heat gun is this flap is hanging out here, 4 or 5 inches left, and as you're heating this down, you accidentally shrink this piece, not aiming to, but it kind of hardens the material. And then you have a lot worse time with wrinkles. Going around here, we got these wrinkles worked out, but you can still see the shadow. And that, when you have a wrinkle and then you iron it, you can iron them out. They'll shrink out usually. Those are shrink out. It's smooth. They're going to be covered up, so it's no big deal. But nobody wants wrinkles, and that's the way you get them is because this was actually pre-shrunk from putting this on. If I would iron this down, that probably wouldn't have happened. And then you've got better curved. All this down here was ironed on, so we didn't run into that problem anywhere. It went down real nice. So we're going to wait till we get all we got left's the tail to do. When we get it done, well, then we'll have to roll this thing around and do the heat shrink on all 4 sides with the iron, and should be good to go. Catch you next time.